I never used to believe in bad luck, especially the whole superstition around the number 13. Black cats crossing paths, broken mirrors, all those things, silly superstitions, I thought. But everything changed on my 13th birthday, a day that I'd never forget. It was early October, crisp leaves falling outside my window, and the air was thick with autumn. It should have been a normal day, but it wasn't. I awoke feeling like something was watching me, waiting just beyond my line of sight. But every time I turned, there was nothing there. I tried to shake it off. Maybe it was just nerves. After all, a 13th birthday is a big milestone. That night, my family had planned a small celebration. Just my parents and a few close friends. The air seemed thick with unease as they gathered around the table, but they laughed it off as just a spooky Halloween season vibe. But as the candles on my cake were lit, the lights flickered, casting strange shadows across the room. Then, just as I leaned forward to blow them out, every candle went out at once, extinguished by some unseen breeze. We all looked around, startled, but laughed it off as a coincidence. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling of something lurking around me, something dark. Over the next few days, strange things started happening. At first, it was small things. A chill in the room, a feeling of being watched, objects in my room slightly moved. And then there were the dreams. Every night, I dreamed of the same thing. A dark, endless hallway with 13 doors, all closed. I knew I shouldn't open them, yet I felt this overwhelming urge to reach the last door. On the 4th night, I did it. I reached the 13th door. It was old, rotting, and as I opened it, the darkness inside felt like it would swallow me whole. I awoke, drenched in sweat, my heart racing. But as the days went on, it was like the dream had followed me into my waking life. The following week, I was walking home from school when I saw it, 13 written in chalk on the sidewalk. The number had been hastily scrawled, almost like someone had been running as they wrote it. A chill ran down my spine and I hurried past, pretending I hadn't seen it. When I got home, the number was there again, this time on my bedroom wall. Just a simple, smeared 13. I asked my parents about it, but they just brushed it off as a prank. I tried to believe them, but the fear gnawed at me. What kind of prank was this? How had they even gotten into my room? The next morning, I found myself counting things compulsively. When I poured cereal into a bowl, there were exactly 13 pieces. When I looked at the clock, it was always 13 minutes past the hour. Even the trees outside my window seemed to be lined up in sets of 13. It was everywhere, an inescapable presence. As Halloween approached, things only got worse. My dreams returned, more vivid and sinister. In them, I was always in that same endless hallway, always reaching for that 13th door. But now I wasn't alone. I could hear whispers, faint voices calling my name. They echoed down the hallway, chilling me to my bones. One night, I dared to ask who was there. "Who are you?" I called into the darkness, my voice trembling. The whispers stopped. Then one voice, clear and sharp, answered. "We are the 13. We've been waiting for you." I jolted awake, but the fear didn't fade with the dream. The voice had sounded real, like it was right there in my room. I tried to tell my parents, but they dismissed it as a nightmare. They couldn't understand, no one could. On Halloween night, I stayed up late, too scared to sleep. Midnight came and went, and then just as I was starting to drift off, I heard a knock on my door. I froze, staring at the door, but there was nothing. Then I heard it again, louder this time. I forced myself to get up and open it, expecting to see my parents. But no one was there. Only the hall, stretching out into darkness. I closed the door, heart racing when I heard it, a slow, deliberate tapping. I turned to the window, and there, written in the condensation on the glass, was the number 13. This time I didn't brush it off. I knew something was coming for me. For weeks I tried to ignore it, hoping it would go away. But the number kept appearing, following me wherever I went. I saw it in my school locker, scratched into my desk, even in my food. It was relentless. Finally, I decided to go back to that place in my dreams. I let myself fall into sleep, walking the endless hallway once more. This time, the doors were open, each one leading into darkness. I reached the 13th door, my heart pounding, and as I opened it, I felt a presence like 1,000 eyes watching me. Inside the room there was only a mirror. I stared into it and my reflection stared back, but something was wrong. It smirked even though I wasn't smiling. Then, without warning, my reflection reached out, its hand stretching through the glass. I screamed, but there was no sound. The last thing I saw before waking was my reflection, dragging me into the darkness. Since that night, things have never been the same. I still see the number 13 everywhere, and now I know what it means. It's a reminder, a warning. And every time I look in the mirror, I see something staring back at me, something that isn't quite me. So, if you ever find yourself counting things in sets of 13, or if you see that number written where it shouldn't be careful. Because the 13 are always watching, waiting for someone to open that final door. And once you do, they'll never let you go.